Hi girls, today we are going to study population dynamics. Basically this chapter is related to human geography. Another name for studying human geography is also said to be demography, which is the science of study of human population. Now this human population is studied on the basis of the size of the population, the structure of the population, that means the number of birth rates, migrants, the death rates, and the development, people who have joined the particular country, or how has the population been developed. Is it growing, or is it stagnant, or is it reducing? The world's population study has become a major topic for research in the last few decades. Now decades here means 10 years. So it's saying the last few decades means a couple of decades, because the demographical changes it has undergone. Now what are the demographical changes? Demographical means when you are showing the population in the form of a graph, and how the changes have occurred. The changes have occurred on the basis of increasing population, decreasing population, population joining from other countries, and so on and so forth. Therefore, this study of population is an important part of human geography. Let us read what is the distribution of population. The world's population is estimated to be over 7 billion and is expected to rise further to 8 billion. This exponential increase in the number of people is not spread out evenly over the earth. It is not that the population in one particular state will be similar to the population in the next state, or the population in one particular part of the world is equal to the other particular part of the world. It is highly uneven. The spread of population over an area is termed as population distribution. So, in certain regions where the concentration of population is more, we call it densely populated areas, and where the population is relatively less, we call it sparsely populated. So here we have learned few terms. We have learned demography, we have learned population distribution, we have also learned the densely and the sparsely populated places. Now let us go to the density of population. So we just said that densely populated places are those places which have a lot of population, like plains near the rivers. Sparsely populated are the places where you have less population, like deserts, snow-covered regions, high mountains. Now the population density can be described as the number of people living in per unit area, right? Usually we take 1 square kilometer, or we also take 1 square, but generally universally we accept 1 square kilometer. So the density of a population is more in a city, sea coast region, near the river valleys. Now Delhi NCR here means North Central region, has very high population. So the density of population is quite high. So in 1 square kilometer area, around 11,297 people are living. Whereas in Arunachal Pradesh, in the same size area, that is 1 square kilometers, only 17 people are living. So in this case, Delhi NCR is highly populated. This is on the basis of the census that was taken in 2011. Now what is census? Census is basically a survey that is done on the basis of the number of people living in a particular area. Density can be calculated using a simple formula. However, the figures are average and do not reflect actual distribution of population. So exactly we just get an average. So density of population means the number of people divided by the area, that is number of person per square kilometer, is the density of population. Now we also know that there are certain places which are overpopulated, there are some which are underpopulated. So overpopulation basically occurs, you can mark in your book what does it mean. Overpopulation occurs when population of a species exceeds the carrying capacity of its ecological setting. That means in a particular area, when the population is so much that the resources become depleting, become less, and the environment cannot hold them. In such an environment, the number of people may exceed the available essential resources like food, water, transport, etc. It has been found that approximately 81 million people add to the world's population annually, and the United Nations has estimated that the world population will hit more than 8.2 billion in 2021. So the major overpopulated countries are India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Dominican Republic of Congo, Bangladesh, and Uganda. In this, the number of people living in a particular area is much more higher. Therefore, the resources are being depleted, resources are less compared to the number of people. In an overpopulated country where agriculture is the main activity, like India, we have agriculture as the main activity, it leads to a chain of events. Let us see what are the chain of events that happen. So what happens that due to over cultivation of land, now when there is overpopulation, we would like to get more food grains from the land. So due to over cultivation means continuation in cultivation without giving rest to the land and without adding resources or nutrients to the soil, land leads to low productivity. When low production happens, people do not get enough food to eat, therefore they will have poor nutrition and poor health. This leads to poverty cycle. The best solution of solving the problem of overpopulation are, first, adopting strict birth control measures across the country, making people aware that what are the benefits of birth control measures so that they have less number of birth rate. Next is educating both men and women so that they understand the value of small family. They learn what are the benefits of small family, how much they can enjoy and use the resources which they are getting. Next is raising the standard of living helps people understand the value of food production and having surplus money. So if you know how to live a lavish life or you know how to live a standard life, then basically you will understand that the money can be utilized in living a lavish life rather than having large number of people dependent on you. So here you can see the circles that talk about what happens if overpopulation is there and overcultivation is there. So overpopulation leads to overcultivation, that leads to insufficient farming methods, which ultimately leads to low productivity in agriculture, which will affect the population in the form of insufficient food. The population will be poorly nutrition, they'll have poor health, a lot of medical facilities required and higher death rate. Sorry, excuse me. I hope I made it clear to you people. Coming to underpopulation. Like overpopulation has certain pros and cons, similarly underpopulation do have pros and cons. Underpopulation, the term underpopulation itself states, you can underline it, that is a state in which the country population has declined too much to support its current economy. Now the population has been reduced to such an extent that the taxes which are coming to the government is very less. Government does not have human resources to work. So the production reduces. We do have the raw material, we do have the resources, but the production will go down. Therefore, the country again suffers. The reason for underpopulation can be lower birth rate, uninhabitable areas like places which are very cold, which are dry deserts, or places which are suffering from war, places that have epidemic, that means a particular kind of disease that spreads in a particular place, or immigration a lot of immigration happens. Immigration means when people are moving out of your particular country, or there is economic crisis, government is not able to place people or give employment to the people, or government is not able to pay money to the employees. So the major unpopulated countries are Albania, Belarus, Bosnia or Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Cook Island, Croatia, Cuba, Estonia, Germany and Greece. So these are the countries which try and attract people towards themselves, and they want people to go and stay there so that the population increase, and as the population increases they will get the benefit of the human resource. Now let us understand the impact of underpopulation. So there are positive as well as negative effects. So positive effects talks about that the pressure on the natural resource to provide for the needs of the people is lesser. Hence there is lesser instances of environment degradation. So when people are not using the resources, obviously there will be lesser environment degradation. There are sufficient provisions for education and medical requirement, therefore there is sufficient opportunity and facilities for everyone, so people get a lot of employment because there is lack of population. Older generation who are living there live for a longer period of time as they have better medical facilities and healthcare facilities. Next, let us come to the negative effects of underpopulation. As population declines due to fertility rate, that is lack of fertility rate, or immigration, that is people moving from one place to another, the exodus leaves it in its wake fewer and fewer qualified persons as the workforce. Now, exodus means people who are leaving. When people move from one country to another, it is basically those people who are highly educated who can get jobs in other countries. That is why they move from one country to another. So what is left behind? The left behind people are mostly uneducated, unqualified, and therefore they cannot provide benefit to the country in which they live. Secondly, the witnessing of a region's young and energetic population leaving can have a significant negative impact on the population left behind. So when the young children move out of a particular country, their parents, their grandparents feel very insecure, and therefore it leads to the negative impact of the people, right? Now, all this overpopulation and underpopulation depend on some factors. These factors we'll be doing in the upcoming class. You can do one thing, you can read the factors from the book, and we will be discussing it in the upcoming class. Any issues, any doubts that you have, we will be working, and I'll explain you in the next class.